Okay, in this video we're checking out another FPV goggle from URUAV. This is another pretty inexpensive budget style goggle. It's similar in some ways to the VR005 and 06, but also a little bit different. And the main difference here is it's got this bigger opening here and a taller screen. It's a 4.3 inch screen. I believe it's like 480 by 272 resolution. It's not a super high resolution screen, so you can't see some pixels. The lens here is not adjustable, as you can see on the side. So if you have older person with some like vision issues, you may have some trouble focusing with this type of lens. Younger people shouldn't have any issues with that. I didn't have any issues with focusing on this particular lens here, and you can see it is a typical box style goggle. It's very, in terms of the form factor, very similar. It's a pretty good price point. It's about 40 bucks. The the VR005 and 6 are around like $25–$30 range. This is about $10 more. No DVR in here. It does have two antennas, but this is not diversity receivers. Not two receivers in here. It's just one receiver with two antennas connected to that one receiver, so it's called antenna diversity. Has an on-off switch here versus pressing a button, which I actually like the on-off switch better because then you know it's on or off, and it turns on and off quickly. You have a couple buttons here for channel, and then this B and S button here is for up and down on the menus. It has a pretty decent sized battery in there. It's like a 1S 1000 milliamp hour battery. It does charge via a micro USB port right there. And there is also an AV in port right over here. So the AV in port's kind of interesting. It's like a 3.5mm audio jack, and I'm assuming that once you find the proper cable or jack and it has a video signal, it'll switch over to the AV input. It doesn't seem to be in the menu. I'll show you that here in a second. So I was not able to find the correct cable that would trigger that, and there's no specifications in the manual as to what the output or the input of the jack is. So that is a little bit disappointing, but if you have the right cable, you can put in, like, say, an external receiver if you want to have a better receiver instead of the ones on here. But I found that this receiver was totally fine if you're starting out and are in a budget FPV startup setup. Then this is going to be totally fine. Most places you're going to fly at a park or somewhere kind of close, this receiver is not an issue. Okay, so I got this turned on, and I have a signal going to it from the KEP-RC Phantom. Just to give you an idea what the video image looks like on the screen. And I will also show you what the reception is like a little bit later in the video at the end. But this camera here is the Caddx EOS 2 camera. Just to give you an idea, just some junk here on my desk. That is the new Toothpick Pro from Full Speed RC. It's coming out soon. But you can see here, you've got your OSD elements on top. So let me just point this at the desk so you can see E1, it's race band 5658, shows you the frequency and band, shows you the power on time, 1 minute 27 seconds. You got also the green icons, the signal strength, and also the battery meter on the upper left and right. And you can see that the screen is in 4:3 mode, so we can change that. This camera happens to be a 4:3 camera, so that's why it's in 4:3 mode. You can switch to 16:9 if you want to. And let's bring up the menu here. So you can go through each of these: brightness, saturation, contrast, language, and then there's mode here, so then we can switch this. Here's the 16:9 mode. This is the full screen. And you go back to 4:3, so you can see the black bars on the side. So you have a different camera, you can actually switch this. So I'm going to go back. Yeah, let's go one more time. 16:9 and 4:3. Now overall, I thought the screen was okay. It's a little bit on the dark side, which is I wish I turned the brightness up, but I think the biggest issue for me was the light leakage. So let me just show you here on the if you have a very wide head, this curvature here on the faceplate is going to be fine for you. But if you have a little bit narrower head, then you're going to get light leakage on the sides and in the nose area, of course. The nose area is actually super wide, so unless you have a huge nose, you're probably going to be fine. But yeah, for me, my face is not as wide as this opening here, and so I had light leakage on the left and right. You could possibly correct that with some foam or some extra padding, for instance. But yeah, this particular one is also similar curvature to the VR005 goggles as well. So not sure why they've gone from a very sort of narrow to very wide. Maybe it's because of complaints of earlier goggles that have come out before. They've kind of gone in the opposite direction. It's actually maybe even too wide now for probably the average person. So overall, I think it's an okay goggle for $40. Obviously, this is an entry level model or budget level model, so you know, if you want better features, a better screen, higher resolution, more receivers, all those things, then yeah, you're going to probably want to go with some more like a Fat Shark or a Sky Zone, something like that, like a more traditional goggle versus a box style goggle here. Yeah, obviously it's very subjective, and you know, whether you're going to like the screen, whether you're going to be able to focus on the screen, whether the face plate fits your face, those are all things that is all you basically have to try to know if it's actually going to work for you or not. So all I can tell you is that on my experience, and I was able to focus on the screen, I had light leakage on the sides. I had no issues with flying in terms of video reception. Seemed totally fine to me, and weight and everything was also fine. So for me, you know, for the money, I would say it's okay. If you are starting out, if you're really on a budget, then you know, try and go for those cheaper ones. They're $25–$30, the VR05 or 06 goggles. But if you have more money, obviously, I would say go to something more like the VRD3s. That's one I think is pretty decent. Comes with a DVR. I'll put links to all that stuff down in the description, as well as the videos that I've had for those, if you want to get my thoughts on the other budget models that are out there. Anyway guys, here's a basically side-by-side reception comparison of these goggles, where I took a camera and pointed it at the screen, and the other receiver is going to be the Sky Zone Sky O2C goggles, I believe, and the receiver in that one. So give you an idea of how this receiver is compared to something else out there, and you know, I thought the reception was pretty good on this one, and I used it with the antennas that were provided. Anyway guys, that's good for this video. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.